Turd Podcast, episode 252, Lamar Terrifier 3.
Well, Joe, our favorite murderous psychopath mime is back.
Yep.
Are there any other
Nope.
ones? You really can't have any. Well, Art the Clown is back, and we are continuing from Terrifier 2. He's wreaking havoc on Sienna and Jonathan. And
everybody else. It doesn't matter who you are.
Well, we might talk about this. Does anybody that's not a main character make it?
Not really, right?
Yeah.
No. Well,
Nah.
never have I been more excited for a movie, Lamar, and never has a movie delivered in that excitement. So let's get with it.
Yes.
First category. What do we think of the story?
Well, I guess not to go too far into spoilers of Terrifier 2, Art the Clown comes, he's like not reincarnate. I don't
He's
know.
rebirthed.
He rebirthed. And there's just some lore about demons and stuff like that. But does that matter? No. What matters is that Art the Clown is doing savagery in Christmas time.
Yeah.
And he's coming back for Sienna, her brother Jonathan. And I don't know if Christmas will be the same, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, of course I loved it.
Bruh.
But this movie's batshit crazy in every which way. What I like about this movie, and also with the second one, and we won't get into spoilers, but the way they expanding the universe, or maybe more explaining the universe is a better way of saying it. But yeah, it's getting bigger and bigger. There's more explanation. It's left on a cliffhanger. We know there's going to be a Terrifier 4. But yeah, this movie, it's crazy.
It's crazy. And I'll say this, they're pacing it, which at the beginning I was like, this is kind of slow. But the story as a whole, like you said, it explains a lot of stuff. And there's actually some unexpected things that happen.
Yeah.
Like in the story front. Now, the complete carnage, we kind of expected it. But like story-wise, when I would watch certain points, I was like, oh, that happened, and that was explained. So that was part of the story that I really liked, is that they didn't just make it just some dumb slasher plot. They actually had story beats that were interesting in it.
I almost felt like this one was a little more vicious or cynical than because the other ones, this one does have the humor. They all have the humor. But this one was a little more like brutal, I guess.
They had a line in the first one. I mean, not the first one, the second one.
Yeah.
They just did a freaking pole vault right over that line, Joe. They were just like, it's 3. We might as well. That's what it was for this. Yeah.
Well, what are we rating it for story, Lamar?
Ah, man, I give it a 1.
Yeah, 1 point. 1 point.
Yes.
Well, our next category, of course, is what did we think of the characters?
Well, Sienna is coming back. She's actually kind of going through it. She has PTSD from what happened in the second one. She's
You think?
Psych ward. A little bit, Her brother, Jonathan, he's trying to more so move on from things.
But, well, he's more just holding it together. He's still
true.
suffering, yeah. Then they introduced the aunt and the uncle and I guess her cousin.
Yes. Yeah.
That's very close to her, who plays an important... she reminds me a little bit of Danielle Harris in the old slasher movies there. The old Halloween movies. So, I don't know. A little bit of resemblance, I guess. I don't know.
You weren't annoyed by the child?
No, I was, yes. Very much. All the children in this movie.
Well, shocking.
No, I'm just saying she reminded me of Danielle Harris.
I will say this, though, and it is a point for the characters. I was annoyed by Jonathan's roommate's girlfriend.
Yes, very annoying character.
But in a way where we're not going to spoil it. Of course, she gets killed, but I was like, yeah, you kind of have it coming.
And they had a funny bit about there too, because she was like, she's obsessed with Art the Clown and the killings, and she was like, and the guy was like, what, do you want to fuck him? And she was like, no. And Art was listening. He got insulted, Lamar.
Yeah.
I love that. I love the little bits of humor that they give to him.
Yes.
But there was a lot of cameos in the movie. You know, Tom
Yes.
Silvani,
Yes.
uh,
Legend. We
Chris
have
Jericho.
Chris Jericho. Yeah, we have Chris Jericho. We also have Clint Howard, who's
Yep.
in a lot of stuff. Ron Howard's brother, but he has been in a lot of movies. And
Hell yeah.
then Daniel Roebuck, who we
Yeah.
have seen
We've seen
a
him a
bunch
ton.
of times and stuff like that. So yeah, they're up in the ante with who's in these movies, Joe.
Yeah, a lot of good characters. I'll give it 1 point for characters. Of course, they did a good job of introducing the new ones while they lasted.
I was about to say, well, yes, 1 point for their time here.
Well, our next category is probably the most important one: the effects slash kills.
One.
Yeah, 1 point.
Everything was practical.
Yeah,
There was a lot of blood.
yeah.
I can't think of any. No digital, Joe.
I not that I saw.
Nothing.
It's like everything looked practical. It was amazing. It was great. It was, and then well, the kills. Let me say, Lamar, like we talked about, nobody's safe in this movie. Listen,
We don't want to give it away, but
well, I think it's implied. Everyone knows at this point. You know, everyone dies, no matter what your age. The way they kill it, I mean, like I said, it's brutal, man.
I will say this. This story is how because I have a problem. Well, it's not a problem. Parents pay attention to things like there was a lot of stupid parents
Yeah.
in this movie. Like, let's just say, be careful and notice if Santa changes when you take your child to see them. That's all I'm gonna say because you got to see the movie. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah. Now
yes.
I will say this: this movie upped the ante with the overall gore.
Oh
But
yeah.
but to me, the bedroom scene in part two is still the scene that makes me go just a little bit. You know, that's the one that because it lingers. I think with this movie, there's more edits, there's more cuts
Oh
away,
yeah. Yeah.
and that helps alleviate that. Where that scene in the second one was just drawn out, just watching that woman get tortured and torn apart. So to me, that scene is still the top scene.
Well, they a lot of those scenes in Terrifier 3 were they were trying to catch up to that one. So it's
Yeah,
not like because boy oh boy,
yeah,
we you said there's faster edits, but we have some times where it's like, oh, we're not cutting away from this
yeah.
part.
That yeah, and a big part of the kills and what they did well with this one, you know, it's always Art the Clown has to find new ways of thinking of killing people, and they found a
Yes.
lot of very new and interesting ways to kill people.
Good Lord.
So, and then every now and then he'll just whip out a gun and shoot someone, which makes him very unique to the slashers. I think you know he's not just
Yes.
you know he's always doing something unique, but then he'll just whip out a pistol and shoot someone. So
He's a diverse killer.
yeah, no, like we
Yeah.
said, 1 point for kills. All right, our next
Yeah.
category is final girl. Is Sienna becoming the ultimate final girl?
It's interesting because here's the thing. In Terrifier 2, she becomes basically what She-Ra in the last part of it. I didn't see that coming, but it was interesting. And in this one, it explains more of why that's
Yeah,
happening. She is our hero basically through these movies, and it's interesting because you don't usually have that a lot. Well, I guess in Halloween technically,
yeah,
but there's like a more of a metaphysical thing here.
right.
So that's very interesting.
I think
Yeah.
that's why I think she's becoming the ultimate final girl because she's predestined to take on Art the Clown and the evil surrounding him.
Mhm.
And they know it. So there's like a background, there's a whole lore surrounding her.
Mhm.
So she might be my ultimate final girl. I'm giving her 1 point for final girl.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Our last category, Lamar. We had to talk about this. Is this a Christmas classic?
Man, there are a lot of things where Art uses his sick, murderous mind to, pay tribute to Christmas. Decking the tree and giving out presents to children has taken on a new meaning from Art the Clown. Even being Santa has given a
Yeah.
new mode of thought because of Art the Clown. Yeah, it really, I think it has become part of movies where you combine either action or horror with Christmas and
Hmm.
it heightens it because Christmas is supposed to be such a wholesome time. And I
Yeah.
think they did that very well with this movie.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like, well, he ate Santa's cookies.
Well,
I love, like
yeah.
we've talked about the humor. I love like he ate the cookies and then he was cleaning the dish in the sink and everything. Like just little bits like that. Well, he decorated the Christmas tree, Lamar. So yeah, he gave the ultimate gift to the dad in the first scene. You see how miserable that guy's life was being married with children. He helped that guy more than anything, Lamar.
I think he was more of a crappy dad. Like,
No,
come
he was
on.
miserable because of his family life, Lamar, and Art the Clown delivered him the ultimate Christmas gift.
The ultimate Christmas gift. Okay.
No,
Yeah.
I think the way people look at Die Hard and say that Die Hard's a Christmas movie. I look at this movie and say this is a Christmas classic.
There are a lot of things in here that pay, tribute to Christmas, just, with a lot of blood and
Yeah,
guts.
and Art the Clown apparently is a fan of Santa, he's just a devoted fan of Santa. We found
Yeah,
so.
he's definitely a fanboy, pretty crazy fanboy of Santa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what are we rating it for Christmas classic, Lamar?
You brought this up. I gotta give it a one because I was watching it and I was like, oh, so that's how art celebrates Christmas.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
1 point.
yeah.
Well, Lamar, we've tallied the score, and this movie gets a perfect 5 out of 5.
I mean, what else do you want from a horror movie that takes place in Christmas? Like,
This movie delivered on all fronts. It's killing it. Independent horror, killing it at the box office. Joker
hmm
2.
Joker, what? Huh? What was
Yeah,
that?
Joker 2 down the drain. Art the Clown reigning supreme.
We've had this conversation, Joe. Will this be a game changer for big studios?
I don't think so.
Damn.
Because, there was an interview with the director. Shout out to Damien Leone. This guy is
Yes.
killing it right now. Like, he had meetings with studio films and, they weren't going to let him do this. He had to kind of go off and still do it somewhat independently. So, and kudos to him for sticking to his guns because nobody would, no studio film would let you do the things he did in this movie.
Do you think they could? Well, I don't think with Damien Leone they could have met him in the middle. Do you think if they went to make their own thing, they can kind of make like something maybe even more
They
tame?
would never have the balls to do anything that comes anywhere close to this.
Anywhere close?
This movie
Yeah,
is off the chain. So,
yeah. Even I would say this: even if you pulled back half of the stuff,
yeah,
I don't think the studio because they're just in the mindset of well, it's got to make $1 billion, so we got to appeal to a mass
yeah,
audience.
yeah. I can just see
Mm,
them just being like, no, we can't do this, and this, and before you know it, there's nothing left.
yeah.
This movie is just because it's unrated. So, you know.
I thought it was still rated R.
No,
Well, makes
I
sense that
thought
it's
I saw it
unrated.
was unrated. So
Well,
they
it's
checked my ID at the theater. So,
yeah. On this is a movie that's in the theaters on IMDb. It says it's not rated.
yeah,
So
there you go.
yeah,
Anyways, does that wrap it up, Lamar?
it does
Terrifier 3. Peace.
deuces.